Hi Ashok, you're good to go. Loud and clear.
To get Dr. Parmesh Shah, the Global Bank, the World Bank over here. In a later way, we just had a kind of intro into the Matrix, a mega movie. We talked about the blue pill, we talked about the red pill, but the next edition showing for Matrix is to get us the green pill. And here we have Dr. Parmesh Shah to support us, to guide us to get the green pill before the next Matrix edition comes in. Dr. Parmesh Shah is a very familiar figure. If you are in the development aspects, we see Dr. Parmesh Shah on the line giving us the kind of explorations into what should happen with the next in the future for agri technology coming. World Bank by itself
No, I don't see it.
has a kind of approach or mission to end the extreme poverty, and it also promotes the shared prosperity. And we see Dr. Parmesh Shah last 25 years in World Bank. He's come up from the grassroots level like senior as a specialist in rural development and then leading the rural development specialization. Now he's global head for data-driven agriculture. And latest recently we saw him in Maharashtra connecting the government for institutionalizing the different investments happening to the he provides leadership and supports the development of global knowledge and learning in these areas to offer solutions to clients and other development partners. His current areas are making markets, public services work with social entrepreneurship and digital database innovations in agriculture and rural development, climate smart agriculture, agriculture and technology enabled startups, venture and patient capital innovations, promotion of on-farm, off-farm, and digital jobs. And very, very interestingly for TIE is the public-private people partnership for rural poverty reduction. That's the mission, what happens in World Bank, and that's Dr. Parmesh Shah leading us there. He is currently involved in developing a global program on scaling up data-driven digital agriculture involving data platforms, establishing ecosystems for innovations, entrepreneurs, and incubation. In fact, right now, he was telling he was in Frankfurt giving the kind of design of projects, programs for the UN. It's a new program which is supposed to be launched by World Bank. And next day he's there in the World Food Program in Munich, maybe day after. So that's the global trotting that permission. We are very, very privileged that he is with us. He's back in India. He did his graduation from Pantnagar University. We are alumni of IIM from post-graduation, and now he did the doctorate in philosophy and development aspects from University of Sussex in United Kingdom. Dr. Parmesh Shah, we are very, very privileged and thank you for making us time, giving us time from, in spite of your traveling from US to headquarters of World Bank, coming to Frankfurt and access us. There were some technical glitches, you absorbed it, and we are off to, we're very keen to listen to you right away. Stage is yours, Dr. Shah.
Thank you very much, Ashok, and thanks for your kind introduction. And it's my pleasure to talk to you today. I'll talk today about the potential of AgTech and food tech as the next innovation lever in the tech space. And I think we all heard about the story of how fintech has transformed how India works on, with smallholders, SMEs and all. So the fintech has already shown the transformative potential of what can be done. In agriculture, globally, we have 500 million smallholders. We are about 300 million. We have about 5,000 which still are at the first stage of digitization and adoption of data-driven and digital technologies. All of us get our food during COVID times. We got our food delivered to us through the e-commerce channels. We got used to ordering food. We got used to ordering vegetables. We got used to getting a lot of services there. But a farmer in a rural area still is getting services in a very traditional kind of way. But of late, we see clearly in India about 500 agtech startups, which are really changing the face of how India is trying to transform its agriculture. There is also initiatives in terms of digitizing the data stack. And if you have the UID system for Aadhaar, and if we had a similar system for farmers, and we had a similar system of GIS tag farm, you will see huge amount of innovations and changes in the food tech and the ag tech system as we go along. So I would today talk to you about some of these trends and also talk about the transformative potential of agriculture and food in India and what we are learning globally there. India has 125 million smallholders, about 5 million commercial farms, and about are delivering services at various levels. We don't have farm registries, digitized farm registries, except some states now. I think clearly Orissa is going for it, Telangana is going for it, many states are going for it, Karnataka is also trying to do it. But digitization of farmers is going to be a very big opportunity as we go forward. In whichever country in the world we have done digital farmer registries, the service delivery to the farmers, both in terms of access to technology inputs, has increased tremendously. I will also talk a little bit today about how availability of data, AI, machine learning, predictive analytics is going to transform the way the agriculture and food sector is done in future. We already see this transformation happening in Netherlands, Israel, Brazil, and China, parts of China and others. And you can see in parts of India also we are going through that same transformation. So we have so many devices in agriculture. We have tractors, we have processing devices, we have energy devices. And if these devices collect data while doing transactions, like processing is happening, pump water is being pumped, and if you are able to collect data by India and other countries which are almost have a 10 meter into 10 meter resolution, data being collected almost on a daily basis, at least 3 or 4 times a year. So all this data should lead to much more predictive analytics, both on the crop side, both in terms of the soils, in terms of what's likely to be produced, what are the climatic changes that happen, and what's going to be the impact on production, markets, and also access to a lot of other ecological services there. So if these devices talk to each other, and we just did a report on 5G and agriculture in the World Bank, and we found that if 5G system comes, we will have all these devices talking to each other, And that will allow us to get data in a form in which we have never used it before. That you will get real-time advisory services to farmers. Right now, there's huge lag between advisory services. Now, give you an example, like right now, an IoT scanner being used to collect soil data transmits the information to the agro dealer, who doesn't give you a vanilla fertilizer but develops customized fertilizer according to what you require. And that fertilizer then it gets couriered to the fertilizer through an e-commerce service. If you get all these transactions bundled into one place, a farmer's productivity increases by 40%. We have a very innovative startup right now working over 9 countries in Africa, Hello Tractor, which has now GPS device fitted on every tractor. You have in India also about 11 companies working in the same way, in which all the data from the tractors on how much soil is being plowed, what kind of depth it is going, when is the tractor available, all this is leading to smallholders accessing mechanization services at almost 3 times the efficiency at which it was being accessed. And if the farmer, smallholder, is able to access the tractorization services in the right way, at the right time, and for exactly the kinds of implements they require, one is able to increase productivity by almost 30 to 40% in even one season once that is available. You have a lot of simple transformations going on when devices, data, and technologies talk to each other. New generation of startups are doing that. And I'll not give specific names because I don't want to name one startup and then say that this startup is doing something as not. We have a range of startups in India right now who are really using the power of the data. In fact, some of the startups are not just working in India. They are collecting data across 46 countries and are providing real-time information on crop advisories and crop analytics by mapping that data and then giving real-time analytics to that. About 149 global agribusiness companies are using services of Indian agtech startups now in developing measurement according to climate ESG standards and looking at the impact on soil carbon and other kinds of things. So the next part, which is going to become very important, it's not enough to produce food. It is important to produce food sustainably by spending less on water and less on energy, and also not depleting the soils. So all this, what we are talking about, will come through really what we will call as microsensors, which would be put in at different places, and the farmer could get, more the carbon credits and environmental services as an additional flow of what, in addition to the produce they're producing. So I think this is the next phase where sustainability is going to be a bigger issue in agriculture and food. And all of us are very concerned about what we eat, whether it's pesticide free, whether it has used the inputs in a sustainable manner. So a lot of pressure is coming from the consumer side also on this. And lots of exports are going to be dependent on certification where people are able to produce food sustainability. In our estimation, the use of data, deep tech analytics and AI machine learning will rise exponentially in the next 5 to 10 years. The countries which have not transformed their agriculture and food to be informed by data and these kinds of developments will become less competitive in the global agribusiness environment. Also, the food security is still a very big issue. You can see that even during this time, when India was thinking of exporting wheat due to Ukraine crisis, it had to stop those things because we had a sudden climatic events and the food production was expected to drop by 10 to 15%. Now, if we had predictive analytics and we had predicted these events and scenarios in that way, we could have made these, all these forward agreements and all that in a much better way. Most of the time, we are sometimes reacting to this, and we still don't have an advisory services which every 10 days, updates the advisory to the farmers in terms of what they should produce and when they should produce, what are the main climatic events there. So I think climate advisory is going to be a very important area for India in future, because the kinds of events we are seeing in climate are going to be more and more. We have in India number of weather stations already there. They're getting automated, but that data does not get converted into analytics and advisory on a regular basis. Now, number of countries in Latin America have transformed their climate advisory systems using real-time analytics from climate data. So if there is a huge lag between when you get the weather data and satellite data and when you issue the advisory, and then you are losing all the advantage of the analytic power of data there. So I think the interface between the weather data, the crop data, the soil data, the transaction data, and the market data, and how do these 5 types of data come together to really come out with advisories for farmers, advisories for governments on what they should invest in, and then advisories in terms of also the agribusiness companies and SMEs on how they should be investing in and how they could develop better products and services would be important. A very important point about digital finance. In India, in spite of priority sector lending, the amount of lending to smallholders on agriculture and food and to SMEs on agriculture and food and to FPOs hardly meets 16% of the demand. 80%, 4% of the demand is unmet because all these sectors are perceived to be risky by the traditional lending institutions, whether it's public sector. There are new institutions emerging which are trying to take the risk differently. So unless and until we are able to calibrate risk using all these factors, weather and finance and all that stuff together, weather and crop condition and market contracts and all, and are able to create a new algorithm for smallholders and FPOs, we will still see this sector as underinvested. So I personally feel that agri-tech and fintech is the future. I think agri-fintech is going to become the most. If you just do agri-tech and you just give farmer advisory and then he has no money to really invest, then there's no point in giving advisory if there's no money that the farmer can invest. And if you give money and the farmer gets very poor quality advisory, then that money is not going to make more money and it is not going to grow. So I think agri-fintech is going to be a very major issue in future. I clearly see large-scale pilots being done by even public sector commercial banks, including SBI and all, who are trying to create now a risk algorithm for every region of India and every cluster. And I think that's a big opportunity for technology companies, data companies, and agri-tech startups to work together to really build these, specific domain products, financial products for different, services which can be delivered. I think e-commerce is also a very important area. I think I personally have seen that a lot of e-commerce companies globally, particularly I should mention that Pinduoduo, which is even a more advanced company than Alibaba in terms of agriculture, has really transformed the whole landscape of agriculture financing and architecture by collecting information from consumers, passing it on to farmers, and creating dialogue between farmers and others. So every farmer has a portal with an e-commerce company, and every farmer can put information on its portal. It gets advice, the consumers give feedback, and every farmer is able to put its own videos of its products there and is able to really have one-on-one interface there. I have seen that model working well. We have the same thing happening in Latin America. And I think Indian e-commerce companies like Big Bazaar, Ninja Cart, and lots of others are now coming in this area as well, basically. So I think we need new models of e-commerce which are backward integrated in terms of getting real-time information from farmers and passing it back to them. So I personally feel that there are many drivers. There are pure play tech startups which will grow and become big. There will be fintechs which will become agri-fintechs. There will be e-commerce companies which will go backward and forward. And there will be governments which will make very kind of forward-looking investments in investing in data architecture data registries, farmer registries, data stack, and also creating ecosystems for startups to thrive. Gone are the days when services will be delivered only by an extension agent in a village. Extension agent will have to be digitally enabled, and there will be a variety of services provided by a range of service providers, including startups to farmers. And I think that is the time when our farmers will be serviced in a very different way, and we will see huge amount of change in the ecosystem there. So 2 or 3 takeaways for you from today: that agri-tech is a growth sector. A lot of technology solutions will have to be developed in future for agriculture using computational analytics, AI, machine learning, and lots of other technologies we are talking about. And then also the e-commerce companies will have to change their business models and include farmers in their formulation. The financial large banks will have to change their old models of financing and calibrate risk by using all kinds of data in a different way. And a lot of disruption also in terms of climate smart advisory services will happen when new types of data will be available in real time to farmers. So I am very optimistic about how this is happening. I think globally, agri-tech is now almost like a 25 to 30 billion dollar industry, and a lot of new people are coming in day in and day out. In India, the World Bank is now working with many states to develop components in all the agriculture food projects. Will have data and digital components. We launched in Maharashtra Agri Innovation Facility just a week back. We will do the same thing in every state where the technology companies, data companies, startups will be able to work with the World Bank supported projects. And we will help and support creation of an ecosystem which allows platforms bringing farmers, innovators, and the financial agencies together on one platform. I wish you all the best for this summit and hope that new ideas will come in. I look forward to receiving ideas from you. You have very interesting set of speakers in the agri-tech data stack in the future. And there's a lot of new ideas which a lot of thought leaders and innovators will bring in this. I wish the event great success. Thank you very much. Over to you, Ashok.
Our sincere gratitude. Oh, yeah. I didn't see the unmuting aspect. This technology, it just do happen. So our sincere gratitude to you, sir, for having given a right direction. And particularly, we want to see you physically in Bangalore when the next event happens for the Matrix 2022 and 23 and onwards. In fact, the 2 next panel addresses tomorrow will be on the agri-tech for 3 hours long. One is on the decoding of agri-tech data, which takes, presumptive points from you. And the second panel is on the how green is agri-tech actually. So these will actually dwell upon the aspects you mentioned now. And our deep felt gratitude to you for sparing time with us and taking us through the futuristic aspects which should give us the roadmap for us in the future. Thank you so much, and we'll keep in touch. Namaste.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ashok, thanks, Dr. Parmesh Shah.